Hey guys, it's Cliff again. Let me say hello. Hello, it's me. Okay, so anyway, today I will show you how I do the landscape of a house. So in a few simple steps. So firstly, this is the plan of my house. We need to understand a few things. Where is the boundary of the house, which is this one, and where is the house itself, and what qualities make the house. So this is the house, this is the back of the house, this is the front street, this one here is the garage. The garagey is over here, and this is the way in. This is where my car is. Let me draw a car for you. I draw a car for you. This is how you draw a car. You just draw a big bean. Okay, let me show you how to draw a car. I know it's not very feng shui. Draw a big bean, then draw another smaller bean inside around here. Okay, then you add the front things, which is where you have the headlights and stuff. Then the back things where you have the rear lights and stuff. Then you draw the doors, which is like that. Then you draw another this thing here. This is where you have the windscreen. There's the windscreen. And then we have the back screen. The back screen over there. Right? And then this is the glass of the sides. And that thing, that line, I don't know why the cars have this line, but that's it. That's the thing, and the little ornament like that. There's the little side view mirror. So that's how you draw a car with the wheels or the tires, whatever you call it. So here is my house with the garage. Things to note. Where is the entry point? This is the front door. This is the back door because the trash cans are over here somewhere. The trash cans are here, and this is the back gate. So now my client wants to design this garden. What are the things we need to know? We need to know what they want. There's a few interesting things to have. Over here, they have this kind of like play school, nursery. So there's a nursery over here. So that's the interesting thing, because this is how people normally go into their house like that. How they normally go into the house like this, and how the nursery parents would walk around the tree and go inside here to bring their kids into the nursery. They don't want the kids to go through their house. So this is interesting. This is a house with an attached nursery element to it. So the first challenge is, how do we get the people from outside the world into the play school with this awkward walking on the grass situation? So they asked me for a solution. Also, they want to have, okay, so this is a list of things they want. They want in the front yard, they want a pond. Don't ask me why. They want a pond, they want a sitting area, and they want a route for parents. Okay? And then in the middle, they want the kids play area, play zone. And then behind, over here, they want a deck, they want a hot tub, they want chickens. I don't know why they want chickens. They want chickens. And they want like vegetables. They want a farm to grow vegetables. So these are the things that they want in the back of the house. Let's address them one by one, starting with the front. Okay, so with the front, they want to create a pathway to get into here. So I don't really want the parents to use this way because it's like mingling with this. So I want the parents to enter from here. So I'm going to create a little post to signify the entrance zone over here, something like that. Maybe little picket fence over there. Picket fence over here. Let's do a little picket fence. Okay. And then I want to create a pathway that does this. Okay, this is a pathway for the parents, this is a pathway for the house residents, so we cancel this one out. Very good, let me cancel this horrible line away. So to do this, to make people feel more welcoming, I want to create a little, like a plaza situation, like a space that they can kind of land on. Nice circular plaza. And then I'll create a pathway that takes them around the tree. Like that, yes. And then here I have like more pathway stones that come here to take them from the outside world into this nice plaza zone. And then, so I'll create this nice paving area. So it doesn't feel like they're walking just down the path. And then the path itself that goes round the tree, that takes us straight to here. Okay. So that's how I do this part. Then I'll create a pathway for the house. I will also create a little plaza for the residents. So you come in, there's a bit of a landing before the pathway starts. Like that. Okay? So now I have done the route for the parents. Now they want a sitting area. Let's put my sitting area over here. I put a nice sitting area over here. Okay. My table and my chair can be here. That's my sitting area. And then they want a pond. Where do I put my pond? This is the smart part. I want to put the pond between the path and the sitting area. Just like that. So this one here would be my beautiful pond. So it creates almost like a moat between the kids' pathway, the kids and the parents' pathway, and the private zone of the house. Is that smart? And then with all the space around, that's why I'll put some, here's my plaza, right? My plaza, and this one takes me into the house. Then with all the leftover space, that's where I'll put like plants over here. I'll put like some tall plants over here. Okay, tall plants over here. This one will help to block the view from here, and I'll put more tall plants over there. So this one will give a bit more privacy. Tall plants over there. And also like something like this. So I kind of create this kind of boundary that you cannot see from here. And then don't forget my giant tree. And then around my tree, I'll put some bushes around to create a bit of a more lush landscape over here. More lush landscape. And then this one here, I have some low planting area so that you really don't really see the house anymore. These are all my low planting area. And here, I'll put more plants. But I won't just anyhow put plants. I'll put like a tree over here. Okay, a tree over there, and then another tree over here, right? Then I'll push the plants more to the edges, around here. More to the edges. Why? This is so that there's a little bit of grassy area. So now I want to make my plaza area a bit more lush, right here. Okay, and also create a bit of like greenery. So from here I can see some grass and then the plants behind. And similarly, from the street, it's not like just giant scary hedges. I can put some plants over here. These are all my planty zone, like that. Okay. Those are my planty zones. And then this one here is my pond. Let me just put some shadow so you can tell it's a pond. Imagine the light is shining from here, the bottom. Because actually this is the south is here. So the light will generally be coming from this direction. Right? Yeah, so let's give a bit of 3D-ness so you can feel the space a bit better. Well, the pond is generally a bit darker than normal anyway. There you go. That's my pond. Beautiful. And then I have my furniture. So my furniture will also have a bit of shadows. So you can see it's a bit 3D. That's my furniture. There you go. Yes. And then of course my tree. My tree itself. Some shadow for the tree so you know where the light is hitting. More shadow. Understanding the shadows is especially important in garden design so that you know where you have more of the plants and where you have the open clearing area so that it doesn't feel too overshadowed. Notice how I create more grassy patches here so that when the kids are walking down the pathway, they're not like covered in shadows of the trees. So it feels a bit more open. See that? I want to make this video not too long, so bear with me. So here's the shadow of the trees. Okay. There's actually a way to draw trees, but I'm not doing it because I'm a bit in a... I know, don't be rushed, but I kind of am in a rush for some reason. I don't know why am I in a rush, but there you go. Those are my trees. I'm using a lot of lead. Anyway, those are my planty areas. Planty areas. Then my shadows from the trees. Lovely. So this is how my front garden will look. So you have your area, the front area, the picket fence. Then this is how the parents will get off, go to their little plaza area before going down the pathway, see the pond, the beautiful pond. And then they take their kids to here. Now, inside the middle area is a play zone. My play zone will be about this size because that's where it currently is. I'll do a little fence over here and that's the door to go out. So there's in and there's out. Play zone itself, very simple. I will create, there'll be this pathway, right? I'll create another little section. This one is like planting area, so the kids can see like how plants look like. How plants look like. Have you ever thought of how plants look like? Have you ever thought of how chickens look like? Anyway, so this is how plants look like. All you Gen Z people, you don't know how a chicken looks like, but now you'll know. Anyway, these are my plants. I'm sure you know how a chicken looks like. That's fine. Just kidding. Just teasing you. So here's my little farm. And then here, this is where I will have my grassy area. Grassy area. Can put a bit more plants over here on this side so that you don't see the fence that much. Then here we can have our sand pit. This is the sand pit over here. There's the sand pit. Okay. There's a sand pit. And this is a grassy area with the slide and those kind of things. I don't know. Kid stuff. Then let's draw the shadow of the slide. The shadow of the slide. Yeah, that's how the shadow looks like. And then with the shadow of the fence. In fact, if you can put a bit of plants here, that'd be quite nice, so at least you don't see the fence. Right. And I'm going to put a little bit more like plants over here, and over here, maybe a bit more like a bigger plant right there. So this is my kids' play zone. Now next, we have this area here. How I want to do this area? Very simple. This area, I want to create a pathway that goes around the house. Maybe I make this a bit smaller. That's a bit too big. Yes, make it a bit smaller. That's how you do when the path is too big. Okay, I'll go around the house skirting like that. And this one here is going to be my zone. Remember how this one is like higher ground. We'll deal with that in a second. So this is going to be my area. I think I want to, so this is my deck area, right? I want to create a bit more plants here to protect from the high, right? The neighbors are a bit looming above you and I don't want that, so I'm going to put more plants over here. Remember, this is a private zone. The private zone, like this, okay? Going to look like that. So, this one here is going to be my private deck area. I'm going to put like my barbecue over there. I am going to put my table over here. This 1 to 100 scale, so I know how to measure it. So nothing's a lie, everything's actually accurate. So that's my table that's going to go there. And I put my nice couch over here. Nice couch. Oh, I forgot to check my thing. So the play zone is done. They want a deck, table, and a couch. They actually wanted a fire pit as well. So greedy! All these people, they want everything. Let's give them everything that they want. Don't be greedy, but you get everything that you ask for. So remember, always ask for what you want, otherwise you'll never get it. Don't be shy, just tell Cliff what you want and I will draw for you. This is my sitting area and that is my fire pit. Very cool. So this one is my deck area. Let me draw the deck zone. Okay, the deck. Don't want this video to be too long. How are we doing on time? Am I wasting your time? Please don't feel like I'm wasting your time. This is how long it takes to design the garden. In fact, it takes longer. I actually have to think. It's not magic, you know. I do think. I use my brain and think. But once you think of the idea, it's very, very satisfying to see it all come to place. Because I find this garden is one of my favorite gardens. Because I find it very cozy. It checks all the boxes. So it's my table. Let's draw some shadows so my tables pop out. Pop. Yes. My sofa is popping out as well. Let my sofa pop out. Okay. Yeah, my fire pit also popping out like that. Perfect. Then my barbecue shadowy behind. Right, so now what I want to do here, I want to create privacy. Remember, so that there's several layers of deck over here. So this one is like kind of higher level. So I'm going to have like a terraced type of thing going on. So this one here, there'll be some plants over there. Plants over here. Little bit of plants, like tall plants here. Then in front, this will be the grass, the grassy zone. This is the grassy area. That's the grassy area. So there's a bit of opening. It doesn't feel super heavy behind you. Although a bit heavy is quite nice. And then behind that, this is where I'll have my terraced area. So there'll be more soil, bigger plants, bigger trees, almost like a mini forest right here. This is going to be my mini forest. How you draw a tree? That's how you draw a tree. You draw the outline, draw the branches. You can draw a palm tree as well. Palm tree looks like that, with the little fronds. Palm tree is the most annoying to draw because you have a lot of little fronds to draw. You can draw like a spiky one, another big tree. I'm a bit lazy or a bit, like, we have no more time. How long? It's already 15 minutes long. Oh my god, this video is already 15 minutes long. That's way too long. I don't want to keep you trapped on my video for 20 minutes. That's way too much. Okay, so this is all my planty area. planty area with some shadows around the trees. Okay, yeah. I almost broke my mirror, gosh. Almost broke my mirror. 7 years of bad luck. We can't afford that, right? We want to be happy, no bad luck, okay? Now, they want their, don't forget, they want the farm. I want to draw the farm. So I'm going to do the farm as a terrace type of thing over here. So the plants can get as much light as you want. I'm going to draw a little pathway that leads to my farm. So this is my little pathway that leads to the farm. That's the pathway. So they can get to their terraced allotment where they grow their plants. These are the little ladders that go up. That is the terraced area. These are the steps that take you up. And then you have the little square growing zones. You can tell if someone is East Asian by the way they draw their squares. If they draw their squares like this, they're East Asian. If they draw their squares like that, they're... Oh, you cannot see? Okay, this is how an East Asian draw their squares. It does like that. That's how they draw a square in East Asia. Because it looks like the letter Ko. This is how a normal person would draw a square. And this is all my allotments for the farmland growing over here. Growing farms. Right over here. Now, where is my hot tub going to go? Let me show you. So this is my pathway. I am going to put my hot tub right around here. Why, you may ask? Because there is no windows over here. The kids cannot see you bathing. So they cannot see. And it's quite private. So this is my hot tub. With the shadow so you can tell it's a hot tub. Very inviting to jump in. Very inviting. And then we have the pathway that gets us to the hot tub. And then some plants around. Some plants around the hot tub. More plants. And I'll put more plants over here just to give it a bit of privacy from the terrace so that I don't actually see the hot tub area. See that? See that? Okay, so beautiful. That's my hot tub area. And of course, put some more plants over there. Oh yeah, they want chickens. Chickens will go here. So many things, oh my god. Okay, so this is my chicken cage, will be here. The chicken coop. Keep them safe from the foxes. Then you can put a little fence around here. Fence. Then I can put more plants over there. I want lots of plants in the sides to kind of protect from the neighbor's view. Maybe more plants over here, more plants over there. Okay, so we have our chicken zone. There's the chicken zone over here. That's the shadow of the chicken coop. And the shadow from the trees. Perfect. Okay, so my garden is taking shape. Very good. More shadows from the fence. Now, what happens over here? That's the bins area. You see this part? You need to get to the bins as well. So I'm going to actually move my gate to the front a bit more front over here. Okay, so this is my gate. Then I'll create a shed. This will be my shed. We need to store stuff, right? Let's be practical here. We need to store. That's the shed. Then I'm going to bring my bins outwards a bit so I don't see them so much. So these are my bins. My 3 recycling bins over here. And I'll create a pathway that takes us to around here. So this is my pathway. This is the pathway. There'll be some plants over there. Plants. Just lots and lots of plants over here. And then this part here, I'm going to try to be a bit more creative. Just like create like little nice pathways. So it feels a bit more interesting. A big tree. Bushes, bushes, bushes all here, just natural looking plants. Then this one here is going to be like that. Yes. You know why I do this? So that there's a little bit more privacy in front of the windows of the rooms over here. So there's that I can put some plants over here, and then there's a bit of lawn in front, you see? So at least it's like a bit of a back garden-y type thing. That's the shadow of my house. Then the shadow of the trees. Then of course that's my pathway. Beautiful, windy pathway. Just so you know, the house is like this. Let me just shadow the house so you can feel the presence of the house. That's the shadow of the house. Shadow, shadow, shadow of the house. So you can see the house pop, right? Let's make the house pop. That's the house pop. That's the furniture popping. Ah, yeah. I love drawing shadows because they make everything like magically pop out. Isn't it? Then especially my farm. Let my farm pop out as well. Let my farm pop out with the shadows. Okay, and my furniture can pop out as well. Furniture can pop. So you can see where the terrace are going. Then finally, this little one, I want to create a little pathway. This is the pathway to take the trash out, right? And then here, put more plants over here. So the pathway is a bit more hidden. Once again, my pathway, I'm going to put more plants this way, so that you can kind of create a bit of a more private zone over there. Like there's a bit of grass over here and more plants over there. Okay, so I think with that, I have checked the chicken, the hot tub, the deck. I think I have covered everything. So we have our driveway. This is how the residents walk in themselves using the nice pathway down the plaza. This is how the parents bring their kids down this thing into this nice forested area. This nice plaza. Then you can see a pond, little clearing, and they walk down the pathway, and then they take us into the kids' garden, which goes into the nursery. The main household people, they live here. They have their nice deck. They can have a nice plants to look at from behind the sofa with the fire pit. This is the secret path that takes us to the hot tub over there, and this is my allotment to grow all my farm, to grow all my vegetables, and this is where the chickens are hiding. Chickens are inside here. So yeah, this is how you design a nice landscape for a house. Let me just make the trees darker. I want to make this more pretty. Pretty. So let's make the trees darker so that it pops out more. Make the trees pop. Pop. Love it. So now it's really popping with the dark shadows. You can see how my landscape is taking shape, and then there's the trees over here. Trees over here. There are more trees over there. Beautiful. And then I put a bit more shadow for the house, so you can really see the house pop. More shadow for the house to really make it pop a bit more. Shadows for the fence line. Shadow for the toys, and shadow for the chicken coop. Yeah, so this is our landscape. Let me see it. So now you know.